Good morning, everyone. It's nice to see all of you. So it is often said that the spiritual path is a path of release, of letting go, of softening, of opening the heart, all these kind of things. That is indeed true. Perhaps the central topic of the spiritual path is the topic of letting go, of releasing, of letting go of everything that is unnecessary, everything that is burdening you, that is heavy, that is weighing you down in this moment. It is plenty. Most of us are carrying around, as Ajahn Brahm puts it quite nicely, like backpacks full of heavy boulders or heavy rocks. And we never really stop and put them down and open the backpack and see whether there's really a need to carry around all those rocks or not. But there is somehow, what makes us carry them around, there is this suspicion that there's some value in those rocks. And most of us even are not at the stage yet where we have even once just checked our backpack and seen that it's filled with rocks. We just simply don't even notice that we wear a backpack because we've been wearing it since day one. And it's throughout our life, it's continuously been filling up with stuff. Your education, your parenting, the various traumas that you had, the various experiences that shaped and formed your psychology, your character, yourself, your body and your mind over life. And so we don't know what it's like to let the backpack go because we haven't really ever noticed it. So the first step really is noticing it. A lot of people come to meditation because they notice that there's something heavy, something weighing them down, something that's challenging, difficult. Others notice that slightly differently. They may notice it in the form of, I'm curious as to what life has to offer. They're pulled by the light. So some people are repulsed by what is dark, what is heavy, stressful, difficult. Other people are drawn to the light. They want to know what else there is. Doesn't matter which side of the coin you're in, it's still the same kind of coin. Something moves you. And it's a kind of dissatisfaction with the status quo, with the way things are. And that is continuously moving us, not only just when we meditate or just at specific moments in our lives, but constantly. It makes us move our bodies, it makes us move our thoughts, our minds, it makes us wonder, it makes us aim for things. And inherently, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Your wish to be happy and your desire to be free from stress or suffering is good. There's nothing wrong with it. What's wrong is the way we approach it, the way we try to fill our cup, we can say. So you want to be happy. What are you doing about it? What is happiness? How would you define it? So you don't want to suffer. What are you doing about it? Does it work? It's very important questions to ask ourselves. Does it actually work? Is what I'm doing in my life with myself so far, is it really working? Or is it something that temporarily works? Is that something you want? Would you like to go from stress and tension to release, to stress to release, to stress to release? Is that something you're looking for? If I were giving you that option and say from now until the end of the life, you will experience a bunch of hardcore problems and a bunch of amazing moments. And they will alternate. So sometimes you will feel great. I will tell you, well, it won't last. And then you will feel horrible, and I will tell you, it won't last. So that just keeps going round and round. Is that what you would opt for? Or the other option would be to step off that wheel and be at peace. A lot of people think, oh, well, stepping off that wheel, that would be pretty boring, because then there is no more up and down, no more contrast, no more excitement. Then life is totally meaningless because you're just off the wheel and everything's the same and I'm indifferent to everything. That's not at all the case. The more you learn to let go off the wheel, temporarily, the more you learn that this is actually where true happiness resides. Then you hold on again. Then you let go again. Then you hold on again. So that's the practice. While in meditation, you let go. You stop holding on to that wheel that gets you up and down all the time. But you learn to stop holding. And then you learn from your experience when you are not holding. That's not an intellectual kind of learning. It's not a philosophy, right? We're not thinking about these kind of things. You're actually experiencing what it means to be free from the tension of contrast, duality. Right now, right here. It's very practical. And so how can we begin? How can we come onto this path? Well, pretty straightforward, actually. How does it feel like when you feel tension in your body and you let go of that tension? Does it feel good or does it feel bad? It's a silly question, right? You all know the answer. I suppose that everyone in this room would have thought, well, of course, it feels good to release tension, let go of stress. Always feels nice. So how far could you take that? If you were to commit to that path of release, how deep would it go? How much stress are you actually holding right now? That requires a great amount of sincerity to actually admit to ourselves that I'm holding a lot of stress, really, because the body can't lie. What can lie to you is what? Is your mind. It will tell you, no, I'm totally fine. I'm doing great right now. I'm strong. I don't want to admit to any weakness because, I don't have any. Does that sound very truthful to you guys? I don't have any weakness. Doesn't that make you want to kind of poke me a little bit and try to find out if I do have a weakness? Rightfully so. That's what life, by the way, does to you if you say, I'm totally fine. I'm totally strong. I can do everything. Life will put that to the test, naturally. It'll kind of start poking you. See, are you actually strong or are you just comfortable? Are you actually happy or do you just enjoy nice circumstances? There's a huge difference. We're living in times right now where most people in the world, not most actually, but most people in the Western, as it always called, like hemisphere civilized world, experience relative abundance. Plenty to eat, there's work, you can travel, you can do all these things. We have social media, internet. Wow. You can learn anything you want, anytime. That's amazing. We're living in amazing times. And that is for the people who are not starving, of course, which I think is a large portion of the world. People are actually starving or in war zones or something like that, like something horrific. Horrible conditions, living in slums. And I think most people in the world are living below the poverty line, like on $1, $2 a day. Miserable lives, like truly miserable, difficult, truly difficult. And so we're sitting in this room with an air conditioner, crossing our legs, having a relatively good time, relaxing, having the space in your mind to actually consider meditation. You don't need to run for bread or fetch water. And you're so exhausted from fetching water because you had to walk 5 kilometers to and back, or maybe even 40 kilometers or something like that. Something insane, just to get a bucket of water. It's not the case for us. So we're relatively free from physical problems. Doesn't mean we're not carrying suffering at all. We also carry suffering. We're carrying it in the form of just constant dissatisfaction, but also in the form of physical stress, which is a result of that constant dissatisfaction, and mental stress, result of that dissatisfaction. And so to admit to ourselves that we are all individually in this world, every being is carrying their burden in some form or shape. That connects us. So we instantly know, okay, we're all the same, we're all carrying our backpacks. And you're either suffering potentially, or you're currently experiencing a nice time or something like this, but then you're suffering, as I just said, potentially. Like, all it needs is a little thing that changes in your life and everything goes downhill. Doesn't take much for most of us. Okay, back to the practice. So how do we do it? Becoming sensitive to the truth of your being. Being sincere with yourself. Totally honest. You must be willing to sit down, still, not moving, and then look. Are you actually getting stressed? Are you tense? Are you frustrated? How do you deal with yourself? How do you talk with yourself? Is that kind? Is that relaxing? Is that easeful, encouraging, uplifting, or complaining, angry? I don't know. What do we do? Like, when does the bell ring? When does the bell ring? You sit there and you do your meditation. Oh God, how much longer? Oh God, how much longer? How helpful is that? It's not very encouraging, isn't it? So then what can we do in that area? We can be honest enough and see, like, wow, I'm waiting for the bell. What does that mean? I'm stressed. Can I release that? Can you? How much faith do you have in your skill? Can you actually stop making this moment a problem? Would that be a possibility? I'm asking a very generous question. I'm not saying, can you do this now? But would that be a possibility? Is that something you could perhaps be doing if you were trained? What do you think? You have faith in that? So where do you think does such a skill come from? To release tension while under pressure. Where do you get such a skill? To stay calm and centered with a cool head and a warm heart in any situation. Well, you get it from pushing yourself slightly outside of your comfort zone, just enough, not too much, not too little. And then you apply that principle of letting go, releasing. You don't need to do anything really to be pushed out of your comfort zone. All you need to do is just sit still. There you're pushed out of your comfort zone quite fast. For some people it takes 10 minutes, for some people 15, for some 30, for some 2 hours. It depends how big your comfort zone is. And how big your comfort zone, it depends on how much work have you done already. That's how comfortable you are. It takes a lot to make you uncomfortable. That's a very good sign. That means you're truly a spiritual practitioner. If it takes a lot to make you lose your mind, to make you uncomfortable, to make you cranky, angry, unhappy, it takes a lot. Imagine you'd be a person that keeps their cool and their warmth in any situation. Do you even think that this is possible? How much faith do you have in your mind? What do you think you can actually do? Is what you think you can do really what you can do? Or is it just what you think you can do? And isn't what you think you can do what you have learned that you can do? What people have told you that you can do? Like you can become a lawyer. You've reached the highest goal if you're a lawyer. You make the family happy if you're a lawyer. And then once you've achieved that, you're at the top. And you're happy with that, comfortable with that. There's no further development. I'm now a lawyer. All good. Is that the highest capacity? Is that the highest thing you can achieve? What's your upper limit in your own mind? How happy can you actually be? Where's your limit? What's your visualization of happiness? How would it look like if you're extremely happy? For a lot of people, happiness looks like laughter, joy, like fun park kind of happiness. Like singing happy songs, eating good food, all that kind of thing. And then if we could max that out, how would that look like? Would you be like totally super excited all of the time? Everything's awesome. Okay, and max that out even more. Like how far can you take that? Laughter. Laughter is an expression of joy. So if you were constantly joyful, would you constantly laugh? Does that sound appealing? Constant laughter. There's some people who want to appear that they're happy, so they run around smiling all the time. Because they feel like, smiling means happy, therefore they run around and smile all the time to portray that they're happy all the time. Like I'm a meditation teacher, therefore I smile all the time. And I talk very gently with you guys. Is that what happiness is? What is it? How would it feel like to be really, really happy? 10 times as happy as your happiest moment in your life. How would that look like? What would it take you to get there? Could you get there? There's a simple answer. Of course you can. What does it depend on? What's the causality for happiness? How do you actually create happiness? Well, you create it by letting go of everything that's in its way. And to let go of whatever is weighing you down, you have to first see it. Then you have to understand, there is no value in holding that. And then you release it. It's as simple as that. Like, okay, you sit still and you notice like you're totally tense and uptight in your shoulders. And then you recognize, oh wow, I'm tense and uptight, and there is no value in holding my shoulders up. What happens next? They drop. You've thoroughly recognized there is no point in adding stress to this moment by holding my shoulders up. So you let go. What about emotional tension? Being frustrated that the bell is not ringing yet. My knee's killing me, when does the bell ring? My knee's killing me, when does the bell ring? That's tension, obviously. Is there any value to this? If I were to keep doing this for the rest of my life, would it serve me well? Obviously not. So why don't I just drop it? It's a beautiful story of one of Ajahn Chah's students, young monk. He was sitting there. When Ajahn Chah gave these talks, he talked a very long time. This is very traditional with Thai teachers. They would go for 4 or 5 hours, yes? Not like an hour like here, but 5 of that. Also meditation, sitting together and exploring these kind of things. And so when there's this monk sitting in the crowd and he's meditating and he's just getting really annoyed at the talk of his teacher. And so he starts asking himself the question, when will he stop? When will he stop? How much longer? How much more will he talk? I got the point already. Why does he keep coming up with more examples? When will he stop? When will he stop? And so that went on for a long time. And he got more and more riled up as the talk kept going on. Like, when will he stop? He said, what? He's going into that same point again. Oh, I can't sit here anymore. When will he stop? And all of a sudden, this voice in his head snapped. It turned around, and it turned into, when will I stop? Young monk, when will I stop? And then he stopped. And the result of that stopping, he stopped so thoroughly that he dropped into a profound meditative state. And he woke up way in the morning hours. So he sat in meditation for the whole talk, the whole remaining talk, and throughout almost the entire night into the morning hours. 6, 7, 8 hours, something like that. Just sitting peacefully, being totally overjoyed, blissed out. And when he came out of the meditation, everyone's already gone. In his early morning hours. Because he stopped. So he drops into this profoundly peaceful state. So satisfied that he doesn't move for 7, 8 hours. There's not a single movement in his body. Just total satisfaction. So that's the power of meditation. The more you let go, the deeper you drop into it. It's like if you're willing to let go of that thing that you're so anxious about, you would drop into a deeper field of happiness. But you still think, there's some value to this, so I don't want to let go of that. And you need to be a little bit bold and say, okay, what if I did let that go? What would happen? Like, let it go for just 10 minutes. Just put it down for 10 minutes. You don't need to worry about your emails for the next 10 minutes. Deal? So you let that go. Suddenly it's much more nice, much more peaceful. The same goes for all forms of tension that exist in your being. Lots of it comes out of fear. The fear of suffering. Like if I didn't do this, I would just fall apart. If I wouldn't do this, or if I would do this, I couldn't be the same person that I am right now anymore. That's scary, so I don't want to let that go. So letting go is gradual. What are you holding right now? Recognize it. See it clearly so you understand there is no value in holding it. Then release it and learn through that release. Not through the intellect, not through thinking about it, but by experiencing what it's like to let go of your tension. So simply, you breathe in, you fill your body with consciousness. You see honestly where you're at. As you breathe out, you release, you let go. And it gets more and more subtle. And as more subtle it gets, the better it gets. That's how you learn. That's how we learn from our meditative experiences. We're not learning because we've read a book. Now I know what meditation is. You learn from the act of letting go and the result of it. And that will teach you, it's nice. There's no value in me telling you it's nice to let go. Please, all of you, just let go. You'd be full of blocks. Yeah? Like, no, I can't let go because I have children, I have a wife, I can't let go. How about just 5 minutes? You will notice there's a lot of anxiety. Like, it's okay. Just be a nobody for 5 minutes. Just be nothing for 5 minutes. You don't have to constantly be something. Can you drop that too? Just 5. And I guarantee you, if you enter that, 5 minutes will turn into much more because it's too nice to stop. So that's how we learn, yeah? Not through the intellect. Simple, simple. Breathe in, feel, see where you're at, release as you breathe out. Keep going. Soften, soften, soften like that. All right? Is there any questions?